You're listening to the Telltale Channel. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check out my Patreon. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Thought it'd be an interesting exercise if we go through a litany of dumb motherfuckers who voted for Donald Trump and now regret it. Let's see what they have to say for themselves.
I voted for him for lower grocery prices. He promised me cheaper prices.
Donald Trump, tell a lie? Knock me over with the feather. I can't see it. I'm sorry, I just don't believe you. Not Trump, he wouldn't tell a lie. I'm sorry, man, if you were... I don't like insulting people, and I'm not trying to insult this woman, really. This is just, I'm trying to genuinely, analyze the situation from an honest perspective. If you were gullible enough to believe Donald Trump after all the lies that he has told over the past 10 years, you are beyond help.
And groceries. And that has not happened. Not only has that not happened, I am getting my food stamps taken. I am getting my cash assistance taken. I am getting my Section 8 taken. I am getting all my welfare governments taken. I did not ask for this.
You did, though. That's the thing. You did. You asked for this. Explicitly, you asked for this. You said, I want Donald Trump. After the dude said he was going to do all of this stuff. He's not doing anything revolutionary or unexpected. We all knew this was coming. You are the only one out of the loop on this. You and the other 33% of the country who were dumb enough to fall for his stupid... Now, aside from all of that, I actually know a lot of people on welfare because I was on welfare when I was younger and, into my 20s and everything. I was on Medicaid and food stamps, and I was trying to get Section 8, but as it turns out, they don't let men onto that very easily anyway. I know this dude named Craig, and he is maybe one of the most soulless people that I know. He's just like a bad person inside, He's just a complete piece of selfish as it gets. He's like Donald Trump if he was on welfare. And Craig is on welfare and voted for Donald Trump. I wonder how Craig is faring now. Not very well, if I had to guess.
I would not have voted for him if I knew this was going to happen.
Unfortunately, that's the case for a lot of people, but you were told repeatedly this was happening. This is your fault. Every part of this is your doing.
So what do I do now? What do the people do now? The ones that regret their vote.
There's no round two here. There's no do-over. There's no recall election or whatever the hell. You die. That's what happens next. You get sent to a concentration camp. You starve. That's the next step. You asked for this. I don't want this any more than anybody else, but here's, this is where we are now.
What do we do? I can't go out and get a regular job.
Try taking the gummy bears out of your ears next time and listen to people around you.
It's not even about... It's not
even about ice? Is that what she whispered? Yeah, she whispered it's not about ice. Really? Okay. That's on the bottom of your list. To tell you the truth, this woman hasn't even been affected by the worst of the economic disaster that is, oncoming right now. The tariffs are just about guaranteed to throw us into another Great Depression, and it hasn't hit quite yet, but it's coming. We have seen massive economic contraction, and by the time you see this video, you might start to feel some of the negative effects of that. Buckle up, because you haven't even begun to experience the pain that you brought upon all of us.
It's not even about, these families being separated from their loved ones. It's not about these 5- and 6-year-olds getting their families taken away from them in the middle of a school day. It's not about any of that.
Well, suddenly she cares about that.
It's about me and my food stamps and my cash assistance. Me. That I'm the only one that matters in this country.
You know, at first I thought this was a troll. I don't believe it is. I think she's 100% serious. And I think that the reason she said that is because she feels like nobody else cares about her now. She feels like Trump cared about her, and now he has very clearly abandoned her. And she feels that she has no other choice but to kind of square up her shoulders and fight against this for herself and not worry about anybody else. That's kind of what got us into this situation in the first place. You're not giving a shit about anybody but yourself, but okay, whatever.
I'm taking my life back.
Yeah, good luck on that. Yeah, we got some others. Check this out.
All I can say, I was a dumb voted for Trump only because of my beliefs. People around me encouraged it. I can think for myself, yes.
Sorry, I don't think so. Not only did you see what happened in his first 4 years, but you also saw what happened 4 years later in 2020 when he literally tried to overthrow the United States government. And you still voted for him. So no, you can't think for yourself.
But I felt at the time that was the better choice. Now I'm looking at it with everything going on. It was the worst decision I ever made.
How could you possibly think that was better? How could you possibly think that Donald Trump was better than literally any human being on planet Earth right now, aside from like Kim Jong-un? How could you possibly think that? I don't understand. Kamala Harris, you think she was a worse choice? Really? You remember all that people talked back in 2020 about how if Joe Biden wins, they're all going to go to concentration camps, and he's a communist, and he's going to implement his communist vision, and that never happened? Not even close? Well, now we actually have concentration camps. Like actual camps that actual people are being sent to from America, never to be seen again. Now, I'm just gonna, I suppose, like paper over that and understand you're most worried about the economic impact because it's all me in your mind. I hope that the economic impact is piercing that granite ball you call a head for once. It's honestly one of the less concerning items on my list, the economic impacts. It's going to cause untold amounts of suffering, but there are literal concentration camps right now, okay? Literal concentration camps. But you know what? If that's the thing that helps you get there, fine. To tell you the truth, I have no sympathy for any of these people right now, including that woman with the baby who's losing her food stamps and stuff. No sympathy. I have sympathy for the baby, but not for her. Your dumb deserves this. You made literally every part of this happen. This is your fault. You made your bed. Now lie in it. You dumb son of a...
I wanted not to vote. But people said you won't be able to have a say in anything if you don't vote.
And how do you feel now?
I totally regret this. I shouldn't have voted at all.
God, even now, I shouldn't have voted at all? Are you shitting me right now? How could anybody at this moment in time justify saying I shouldn't have voted, or I should have voted, or I'm glad I voted for Donald Trump? How can anybody justify that? He is a literal dictator. I feel like I'm glad to hear that this pierced that granite skull of his, but I don't know that it did, truthfully. Again, just like with the other woman, it seems like this is all about me, and not about everybody else that's suffering. I mean, God, yes, tariffs are bad, but look at what happened to the millions of federal workers. 2.3 million federal workers just went through a real traumatic experience. Have you ever laid somebody off before, or seen somebody laid off, or been laid off yourself? Do you know what that is like? Millions of people just went through this seriously traumatic experience, and now the tariffs are going to make millions more go through it. I just don't know. God, I don't know where their heads are. We live in two different worlds. God, like my kid sent me a bunch of these videos, a ton of them. So I'm going to have to do a part 2 probably to this, but let's watch another. This is Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports. He is, if I remember correctly, I just know a little bit. I think he's a gambling addict, and he's also a millionaire, filthy rich, and he's a Trump voter.
Yeah, I'm voting for Trump. Trump has put his tariffs all over the place. I've been trying to understand them. I don't. And everything's in the because of it.
There's nothing to understand.
Donald Trump just cost me $20 million or whatever he did. Maybe don't be on the golf course.
Everyone in this room, everyone loves you.
My God, dude, I'm sorry. Like, back to the Portnoy thing. Again, I say, you dumb son of a bitch. Did you really not see this coming? How could you not see this coming? Literally, everybody saw this coming. Except for, like, MAGA Potamians or whatever. Jesus. This one is, like, one of my favorites right here. This is Aiden Ross. He's famous for having sniffed Andrew Tate's chair after he stood up to use the bathroom. Don't ask me why. He's famous for all kinds of other things, for not knowing what the word fascist is or what it means. Oh my God, dude. You know what? Let's go down the road. Let's take this dirt path. This is Aiden Ross. This is him finding out what a fascist is.
What does a fascist mean?
What does a fascist mean? By the way, he got famous on Twitch, I believe, playing NBA 2K. And when I say famous, I mean ultra famous. Holy shit, he's got a lot of money. Like tens of millions of dollars. He's got like more money than he does brains. He's just dumb as a dog. And I'm not saying that to be offensive. He's just really fucking stupid, as you'll see in a second. And he's got somebody that's really, really smart managing his money for him.
It means you are a far right authorization
Far right ultra nationalist.
Oh my God! Ultra analyst, political ideology movement characterized by dictator leadership, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition. So I don't know what that means, bro. I swear to God, I don't know what the fascism is. I don't know what the it is. Benito Mussolini and Giovanni
Gentile. Giovanni Gentile. He was the Italian economics guy, I think.
And Jason Stanley. Like, who the are these people, bro? Never heard of my life. What is an example of a fascist? Yo!
Yeah, Nazi party led by Adolf Hitler. Anyway, that's Aiden Ross. And then there's this one, classic.
You know, I have work to do. I'm done. I'll fix you.
Where you going?
So they play chess.
I'm ready, bro. I'm really gonna do this. Y'all don't understand, bro. I'm really. And I just want to say, bro.
It is so fucking stupid. Anyway, this is Aiden Ross's reaction. He hosted Trump and gave him like a Cybertruck and everything.
Room, everyone loves you, and I just want to say you're a true hero for this country.
I don't know how many of you guys are invested in crypto or stocks. What the is going on with our country? Guys, why am I poor?
Because Donald Trump
God, I would love to think that he's poor. Unfortunately, I don't think that's the case.
is the nominee against Joe Biden. I won't just vote for him. I will walk over broken glass to vote for him. His giant tariff policy that he just dropped on the market unilaterally, probably unconstitutionally.
This is a vivid demonstration of very well-known, prominent Trump fans, whether they're in your feeds, as they say, or not, going through their own personal experience of the harm of these Trump economic policies as their viewers watch.
Which is important, yeah. I'm glad to see that some of these poor dumb fools are speaking out about how absolutely destroyed their portfolios are. I'm just sad that it was the portfolios that they give a shit about and not the human suffering, the lives, and their own portfolios nonetheless. Forget anybody else's retirement fund that they now don't have because it's empty, because it's completely worthless because Trump destroyed everything. He destroyed the economy. They don't care about any of that. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. These people are just jokes. And I'm glad to see that they are finally connecting the dots. Tell me your thoughts. We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Check out these Trump supporters. Upset about their vote. They are now regretting their vote for Donald Trump.
I love this for you. I love this. Nice. I love this for you. I love to see you fail. I love to see your family be affected and hurt because you voted for Trump.
Oh my God, dude. Look, let's keep listening.
Yeah, I voted for Trump. Absolutely. Did I know he was going to increase the tariffs? Yes, I did. However, I thought that
it was only going to affect you. It wasn't going to affect me. That's what I thought.
The infrastructure would be set up prior for small business to come back to America and manufacture in America. So to wish ill on someone and to love the fact that they're suffering, to love the fact that their family is being negatively affected because I didn't vote the same way that you did.
Okay, look, that's not, I don't want anybody to suffer. Nobody, especially not your family. I don't want anybody's family suffering. I want to decrease human suffering as much as possible in the world. That being said, you just increased human suffering by a factor of 1,000, dramatically, including your own dumbass. So my sympathy is not just at 0 now, it has gone into the negatives and wrapped back around to joy. Not for your family's suffering, not for the country's suffering, not for anybody's suffering, just you, because you made every part of this happen. Every part. This is your fault. You made your bed. Now you get to lie in it. Unfortunately, you're forcing everyone else to lie in it with you. You really didn't believe that Donald Trump... Did you really think Trump was intelligent enough to back up tariffs with economic infrastructure, like building out industries and setting up independent supply chains and stuff? You thought that's what he was going to do? Are you shitting me? Why would you think that? What gave you that idea? Oh yeah, and one more thing. I'm not enjoying this really at all, but if I had to describe my feelings, it certainly wouldn't be sympathy. But I certainly don't have any of these feelings because you didn't vote the same way as me. I have these feelings because your dumb ass voted for Donald Trump knowing he was going to do this. And now you're facing consequences for your dumb decisions, your dumb choices. God, he's such a victim, even in this situation. I mean, how much money does this dude have? I would venture to guess millions, right? He's not suffering. You want to talk about suffering? Talk about people on food stamps or Social Security, or who were on those things and aren't anymore. Talk about federal workers who have been fired. You aren't suffering. You have no idea what suffering is. So again, sympathy wrapped back around into the negatives now.
Because I didn't vote the same way that you did is up. It really is. It shouldn't matter. Anyone that enters my life, I'm going to judge you of who you are.
Doesn't the Bible say don't judge?
How you are as a human being. Are you kind? Are you polite? Are you sincere?
Are you dumb as dog? I feel we've pretty firmly established that this dude must be to have made the choice that he made, right?
That's how I judge you, not who you voted for.
Again, I'm not judging you based on that. I'm not judging you based on who you voted for. I'm judging you based on the fact that you believed the most obvious con man on planet Earth and all the shit that he said he was going to do while claiming to, make the economy great. All the other that came with it was fucking horrific. Talking about jailing immigrants and sending them to concentration camps. Yeah, he was talking about this before he was elected, and you're voted for it anyway. So I don't want to hear it. I have no sympathy for you. None. It's not about who you voted for. It's not, if you voted Republican, I wouldn't feel this way. It's that you voted for a set of policies that would materially increase suffering in the world on a massive scale. And because you got caught up in that, you're now upset?
far left-leaning friends. I got far right-leaning friends. It doesn't matter to me. I like you based on who you are. But to
Well, I don't like you.
see someone hurt and their business fail and their family be affected because they didn't vote the way you did.
Again, I don't want anyone's family to fail. I don't want anyone to fail. But you're facing the consequences of your actions, and maybe next time around, if there is a next time, and your dumb ass isn't sent to a concentration camp, or maybe if there is another election in the United States, maybe you'll vote differently next time. That's what consequences are supposed to reinforce. You touch a hot stove, you get pain sensors in your hand telling you to stop doing that. Consequences, they're important. So I'm glad you're suffering for the sake of experiencing consequences, if nothing else. If your family is like an innocent party in this, I'm deeply sorry for them that they have to deal with your dip.
It's up. I'm sorry a lot of you are up. I'm sorry. We should all care about each other regardless of who we voted for.
A Trump supporter saying this.
I'm sorry. I hope you guys can be better people. Good luck to you guys.
Yeah, anyway, zero sympathy. Zero. Wrapped back around to joy again. All right? Now he did another one. Check this out.
All right.
He says, I voted for you, Trump, and now you're putting me out of business. I hope this is better for the country.
All right, I hate asking for help. I'm not asking for any handouts, but I'm a small business owner that is directly being affected by the 104% tariff that has been put on China. I import alloy wheels for cars, and I do somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 containers a year, which is a small business in regards to this industry.
Containers, 15 containers. Is he talking about shipping containers? I know just a little bit about this, and if I had to ballpark it, I'm not sure who this guy is. I know what shipping containers cost and what they contain. A couple $1,000s for a shipping container, and you can get $50,000 to $100,000 out of a single shipping container profit. So, I mean, I'm just spitballing here, so this could be completely off base, just off the little bit that I know about this industry. So he's saying he does 15 shipping containers, I assume, from China a year. That's $30,000 a year that he spends. And he's looking at maybe $750,000 to $1 million a year that he makes off this business. Small business owner. Okay, go on.
At 104%, I am absolutely going to implode and will not last 6 months. So with that said, I'm asking, is there anybody out there that has connections with manufacturing facilities, specifically alloy wheels, either in the United States or outside in these lesser tariffed countries like Mexico, Indonesia, Thailand, India? I need to find another source. I've emailed a lot of these companies and cannot get a response.
Well, they're probably being overwhelmed with requests right now. That's what happens, When you put tariffs on something, you're supposed to build out the infrastructure that acts as the underpinning for this industry. That's what tariffs are for. You should never, ever use tariffs unless you're trying to decrease outsourcing. Outsourcing is not necessarily a bad thing. It has a bad reputation in the United States because there was too much of it going on for a while there. But there are cases in which we should outsource more. It just depends. So tariffs are a tool to regulate that, to keep outsourcing at a reasonable level, to increase manufacturing in country. But the thing is, A, the United States is a service-based economy. We aren't a manufacturing-based economy. China is. And B, Trump is using them as a weapon, the tariffs, that is. He's not using it for what it's intended to be for, which is increasing domestic production of something. You have to build out factories. You have to, as the government, find alternative supply chains for things. You know that sand that's used to make silicon, to make chips, microchips, there's a shortage of that type of sand. It's a specific type of sand, not just any. There are like sand black markets and all of the sand that's on the market right now is claimed and accounted for by the companies that do the most chip manufacturing. So when Biden did the CHIPS Act, I believe, trying to bring chip manufacturing to the United States, they had to set up a whole independent supply chain for this certain type of sand, and they had to build out these clean rooms, and it took literal years to build out the infrastructure necessary to bring back the manufacturing. Now, when the manufacturing is here in the United States, you can increase tariffs on, say, Taiwan for that very specific industry, microchips, not other microchips, by 15%, so that microchips are slightly cheaper in the United States than they are importing them from Taiwan. So that people are encouraged to, car manufacturers, Apple iPhones and things like that. They're encouraged to have their stuff manufactured domestically rather than abroad, rather than outsourcing this stuff. That's what's involved in using tariffs. That's what tariffs are for. Trump isn't using them for that. He's using them to hurt people. Like, what is he even doing? Like, what's the plan? Why is he doing this at all? I don't know what he's like. What's the end game? Is there one? Now, this guy handles shipping containers full of alloy wheels. There is no alloy wheel production center in the United States. Why did Trump do that? I don't understand. And this I'm sorry. I don't like insulting people, but like at a certain point, where is your head? This voted for this. And he says he knew this was happening. Are you kidding me right now? You knew this was happening? It takes literal years to set up infrastructure. And you know what? When Trump was like going through his campaign, he said he was going to use tariffs as a method of pressuring foreign governments. So you don't even have the excuse of saying, I thought he was going to set up manufacturing and, industrial whatever. You don't have that excuse. He told us he's going to use it as a weapon.
These companies and cannot get a response. And I just don't know if it's because I'm a small business or what exactly it is. So
it's because they're overloaded. All of the sand, for example, is accounted for. Taiwan gets, 70% of it. And now there's 30% for these other smaller organizations. Trump never bothered setting up alternative supply chains. So now you're f***ed. That's the problem. Now you're f***ed.
If anybody's out there that can help or shed some light, maybe provide some information that would be helpful, I would really greatly appreciate it, because if not, it's just a small business here that's going to go under, and I'll be back to digging ditches again, which I'm not scared to do, but it's a little harder to do with a wife, 2 kids, and at 45 years old. So let me know if you guys have any suggestions. It's very much appreciated. Thank you.
I have a suggestion for you. Yeah, let me lay down this suggestion for you. Don't fucking vote for Trump next time. Try that one, maybe. Don't vote for somebody who is audibly telling you he's going to be a dictator. He said those words. Maybe try that next time around. It's a little late this time. You're kind of now. Enjoy your ditches. Anyway, tell what you think about it in the comments. God, people, what is wrong with you? And now you're out here complaining about it? Tell me your thoughts. We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Thought it'd be an interesting exercise if we go through a litany of dumb motherfuckers who voted for Donald Trump and now regret it. Let's see what they have to say for themselves.
I'm gonna say it, and it needs to be said. I'm a die-hard Republican and a Trump supporter, and I voted for him. With that said, the hypocrisy the Republican Party is showing is appalling at best. I would have never voted for what has happened in the past 5 weeks.
No, okay, I don't know what she's about to say, but let me just take a guess. I'm going to guess it's not about the concentration camps and other people being sent to them and just fucking disappearing into thin air. I'm going to guess it's not about that. If I had to guess, I'm going to say it's about tariffs, right? About your own economic pain that you are suffering. right?
I didn't vote for Elon Musk. I didn't vote for the president of Ukraine to get ousted. And I didn't vote for half of America to get laid off.
Economic pain. Yep, how did I guess? Actually, this one took me by surprise. She's not talking about concentration camps, but she is talking about other people. She's talking about the federal workforce and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I understand bringing jobs back to America, but now the job market is completely flooded because of how this was implemented. Yeah, I understand tariffs, but now they're just being passed down to the recently unemployed. Because yes, I am one of those innocent bystanders that got laid off due to foreign aid, and my heart is now broken. I feel completely betrayed by...
Sorry, look, I don't revel in anybody's pain. Certainly not yours, nobody's. I don't want any suffering anywhere, okay? But you made every part of this happen. Literally everything along the way is on you. So my sympathy has wrapped back around into the negatives and is now in joy territory. And not that I'm enjoying any suffering. I'm not. I'm just saying it's certainly not in sympathy territory now.
This administration. Trump needs to do better. Him and his whole crew. This is insulting and completely embarrassing. The entire country is embarrassing right now.
Look, he told you what he was planning to do. Did you not hear? Did you, not watch the news? What? What was it? What made you think it was a good idea to vote for him? What did he say that made you think that this was not going to happen? He told you every step of the way what he was going to do. How could you not know? He told you in 2020. This is entirely your fault. Every bit of it. Jesus, I am so sorry that you have to listen to stuff like this.
Donald Trump is a type of Jesus Christ. When Jesus breathed his last breath on the cross, they took him down, they wrapped him in clothes, and they stuck him in a borrowed tomb, thinking they would never have to hear from him again, rejoicing that the Savior had been crucified once and for all. What they didn't know was 3 days later when they went to check, the tomb was empty. Praise be to God, the Savior had risen. In 2020, they put Donald J. Trump in a political tomb.
Dude, the comparisons between Trump and Jesus are too much for me. That is too much.
They wrapped him in orange clothes.
Wrapped him in orange clothes. What? The jail jumpsuit, right, is what you're saying?
Tried to put him in a jail cell and tell him his political career was over. We the people kept knocking on the tomb. We the people kept rolling the stone away. And lo and behold, Donald Trump is risen again. His political career was resurrected on November 5th, 2024. We the people have wakened Donald Trump. God Almighty has allowed for this moment to happen.
God Almighty has allowed this to happen.
So America can be great again. What do you think about all that?
Yeah, Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, so complete blasphemy. This is the strong delusion. I'll tell you what I think of that. I think it sounds like you view him as the new Messiah, as the Son of Man. I've talked about it before, but there's a guy named Shane Vaughn who is very much kind of led the charge on the Trump church, the Trump religion. And it's still a denomination of Christianity. And the idea goes like this. In the Old Testament, there's a character called the Son of Man. He's supposed to be a cosmic judge that arrives on Earth and snaps his fingers and Armageddon takes place and all the bad die and all the good survive or go to heaven, whatever other thing. Jews have been expecting the Son of Man for like a really long time, the Messiah. Christians claimed that the Son of Man came. It was Jesus. But he never fulfilled his role as Son of Man, so they were expecting him to return. It didn't make any sense that Jesus died before he fulfilled his role as Son of Man. They said he'll be back. Jehovah's Witnesses, of course, think he came back in 1914, for example, and people like Shane Vaughn and this guy, apparently, think that Donald Trump is fulfilling the role of Son of Man. He's not Jesus incarnate. He doesn't have Jesus' personality, although they probably think he has that too. But they specifically think Donald Trump is going to fulfill the role that Jesus was supposed to fulfill when he returned to Earth, which is sparking Armageddon and acting as a cosmic judge. Shane Vaughn kind of explains it a little bit here.
Jewish people are not the same as Israelites. Make a long story short, thousands of years ago, 12 tribes of Israel. 10 of those tribes separated from the 2 tribes. Those 2 tribes are known as the Jewish people. The other 10 tribes known as Israel. Israel doesn't live in Israel.
This is part of a big winding belief system, part of like the Trump theology, and the basics of it go like this. In biblical times, 600 BCE, give or take, there was a split between 2 countries. Israel split up into 2. Israel was the north, and Judea, or Judah, just same country, different names, was to the south. There were 12 tribes of Israel. Judah and Benjamin were in Judea, and they were like the record keepers. And the other 10 tribes, the Levites and the tribe of Asher and Reuben and Gad and whoever the hell else, they were all in Israel, right? The first few books of the Bible were written, Deuteronomy at the very least, was written in Judea, in the south. It had a very strong anti-north bias. Well, in the year 600, this actually happened, this next part. Nebuchadnezzar of the Babylonian Empire rolls into the area, takes control of Judah and Israel, and tells them, pay me tribute every year and you can keep your kingdom. So they pay for 4 years, and the king of Judah basically said, we're not doing this anymore. So Nebuchadnezzar rolls in with his army and, takes control. I think Zechariah maybe, or Zephaniah, one of them was the king of Israel at the time. I don't remember who was the king of Judah. Anyway, so he rolls in, he takes control, he takes a whole bunch of people from Judea as slaves back to Babylon. That's real. So here's where Shane Vaughn's whole belief system begins. There's a split, right? The Jews are the ones from Judah or Judea, the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Benjamin, the ones that were taken to Babylon to serve as slaves under Nebuchadnezzar. Shane Vaughn believes the ones to the north, the other 10 tribes, traveled up over the Caucasus Mountains, went to the Angles Isles and Saxony in the Germanic area, then sailed over to the United Kingdom area, the British Isles, and became the Anglo-Saxons, and then sailed over to America and founded the government and made a new covenant with God, and that's how America is New Israel, and Trump is actually secretly Jewish, or he's one of God's chosen people, an Israelite, basically. And that's how he justifies all the other insane that he believes. This is a full-blown theology behind all of this. So when you hear this other dude, whoever it was, this guy right here, when you hear him say that, Trump is like Jesus and everything else, hearing all these comparisons to Jesus, it's an indication that he's probably a member of the Trump religion, a denomination of Christianity, just like Shane Vaughn. Anyway, let him finish his little explanation here.
Those 2 tribes are known as the Jewish people. The other 10 tribes known as Israel.
So the 2 tribes, Judah and Benjamin, now live in modern-day Israel and call themselves God's people. But in Shane Vaughn's mind, pretty much everything he said was made up, except for the fact that there were 2 countries, Israel and Judah, and the people of Judah were taken as slaves in Babylon. That's about it. Those are the only true parts. Anyway, he believes that the real Jews came up over the Caucasus Mountains and became Anglo-Saxons.
Israel doesn't live in Israel. Jews live in Israel.
We are Israel today in America.
Israel was scattered all over the world, primarily the United States of America, Great Britain, and the Commonwealth nations. So who was it that lived at the Gaza Strip? Israel, not Jews. Israel. Now, who is the leader of Israel? Donald Trump.
The leader of Israel, not the country, but the people. The leader of the Jews, the leader of God's people, Donald Trump. That's what he's saying. This is a full-blown religion, guys. I'm telling you. A full-blown denomination of Christianity with churches that worship and everything. It's wild to see. They say that, Fox News definitely formed out the suit and Donald Trump stepped into it. The exact same thing happened in 1930s Germany. The far right formed out the suit and Hitler stepped into it. Anyway, absolutely wild. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. This is Shane Vaughn. I haven't talked about him in a while, but let's talk about what he's up to. He is a literal prophet of Trump. I mean, there's an actual full-blown theology behind Donald Trump, and he is one of the theological followers of Trumpism. He's a Christian who believes that Trump is the Son of Man, and he's got a take on Donald Trump's economic policy.
These tariffs, they are not just policy. They are prophecy. You've got to get that deep in your mind tonight, because now that globalism is dead, it is literally Trump against the world.
Look, this guy, you know, he's got like deep problems, but if I had to say one good thing about him, it would be that he knows how to pop his peas.
It is literally Trump.
Top tier. That is top tier popping. I've never seen anybody pop their peas that well. Trump against the world.
Against the world. He has turned the world upside down, and now the nations are clamoring. Everything is unbalanced.
So every time he describes something that Trump is doing, he's relating it or connecting it back to Jesus in some way. You know, the people that killed Jesus, they were hateful and looking for an opportunity to hurt him, and now everybody is clamoring to be part of Jesus' organization and religion and beliefs now, or whatever. You know, that's kind of how he sets things up, because he thinks he's the Son of Man. Now, I've covered this at length before, so if you're curious, you can just search in my catalog of videos. But the Son of Man, just to kind of give a super basic primer, is a character, or is a character in biblical history who's supposed to come along and spark Armageddon, supposed to like be a cosmic judge that sets everything right and doles out God's judgment on people or whatever. It's from the Old Testament. And people up to now, Christianity believes that Jesus is the Son of Man, but Jesus died before he could fulfill his role as Son of Man. And everybody was like confused by that. Like, what? Why did he die? He shouldn't be dying right now. So people said, he'll be back. He'll be back. Just wait and see. He'll come back and he'll fulfill his role as Son of Man. That's why Jesus has to return to be the Son of Man, and that's why he brings Armageddon with him. Well, Shane Vaughn believes that Trump is the Son of Man. He believes Jesus is the Son of God and Trump is the Son of Man. So Trump is filling in for Jesus. He's not actually Jesus. He's fulfilling his role. So every time, you know, Shane Vaughn talks about Trump in any way, it's always in some prophetic context, in some way that's linked back to Jesus, in some direct, specific way. So the tariffs are prophetic. And he's not alone, okay? He's not a nobody either. He's very famous. He's very powerful. He's got a lot of money. He is a full-blown televangelist for all intents and purposes.
Everything is unbalanced. And I know mainstream media thinks that's bad, but they couldn't be further from the truth. This is the bowl judgments coming up on the world. Yahweh has raised up a man, the breaker himself, to bring to pass those things that must happen in the end time.
Before Armageddon. These things must happen in the end times before Armageddon. Shane Vaughn believed that Trump would not leave office, that Armageddon would come before he left office. And he's got a very detailed, convincing explanation for how Trump can be the Son of Man. Claims that he's Jewish because when some Jews were taken captive in Babylon, some were left behind in Israel, and they traveled up over the Caucasus Mountains and went to the Angle Isles and to Saxony, and then sailed over to the British Isles and became the Anglo-Saxons, and then sailed over to America and founded America, and Donald Trump is in the mix somewhere. So anyway, middle, we're all Jews. Trump is a Jew. Yeah. Absolutely psychotic, dude. Oh my God, it's crazy. Let's talk about Shane Vaughn, though, for a moment, shall we? Since we're talking about it, we might as well go all the way down the rabbit hole. Hey, you know what? He actually describes, or he explains his theology right here, at least in part. I explained it pretty well. See what he says.
Jewish people are not the same as Israelites. Make a long story short, thousands of years ago, 12 tribes of Israel, 10 of those tribes separated from the 2 tribes. Those 2 tribes are known as the Jewish people. The other 10 tribes known as Israel.
So the 2 tribes he's referring to, the tribe of Benjamin and the tribe of Judah, they lived in Judea, which was a little tiny country that split off from Israel to the south, and Israel was to the north. So some of this is verified fact, like verified historical fact. Nebuchadnezzar of the Babylonian Empire sweeps in and claims this territory in Israel/Judea area and forces them to pay tribute to him. So they pay tribute for about 4 years, and then they turn on him. Like everybody in this little region in Judea and in Israel, they turn on Nebuchadnezzar, refuse the tribute. He sweeps back in and kills the leader, which was Zechariah, maybe? I don't remember. Kills the leader of Israel/Judah at the time. Judah and Judea are the same place. They just got renamed later. Anyway, he kills the leaders, and he takes a bunch of people from Judea captive, from the tribes of Benjamin and Judah. And the other 10 tribes kind of live to the north in Israel proper.
Israel doesn't live in Israel. Jews lived in Israel. Israel was scattered all over the world, primarily the United States of America, Great Britain.
Yeah, it's just Delusion. This is what I'm talking about, where he says they all sailed over to became the Anglo-Saxons, and it's just insane. But he's not alone. This is not some fringe theory. Well, it is, but it's pretty popular.
And the Commonwealth nations. So who was it that lived at the Gaza Strip? Israel, not Jews. Israel. Now, who is the leader of Israel? Donald Trump.
Because Israel is the people, God's people, and Jews are the people from Judah, and they're not God's people anymore, I guess, in his mind. Absolutely insane. But I am so entertained by it. Oh my God, this dude comes up with absolutely insane excuses too for like ridiculous stuff. This is really funny. Donald Trump did not put his hand on the Bible when he was sworn in for his second term.
Melania had that Bible in her hands. Okay? Before Melania could get there with the Bible, Justice Roberts had already started the oath.
Oh my God.
When she got up there, she, who happens to be him because they are one.
Melania was touching the Bible, and by the distributive property, I don't know. What mathematical property are we using that gets Melania touching it to Donald Trump touching it by proxy? What a joke, dude.
She was holding her hand on the Bible. These two shall become one.
Yeah, this is freeze tag rules.
So yes, he did because his wife did, okay?
Oh my God, it's so stupid. I'm so entertained by this shit, man. I'm sorry. Sometimes you gotta have a laugh, right? It's so stupid. All right, here we go. This is Shane Vaughn explaining that he is a cult member. He acknowledges that, but it's the left's fault.
We would never be this defensive of Donald Trump if you would not have forced us into this cult mentality.
God, dude.
Yeah, we would now fight for Donald Trump. Why? We believe in justice. And when we see a man that God's put his hand on being attacked night and day.
Such a victim, huh? Donald Trump is such a victim. Always being attacked night and day for no reason, too. He's such a nice guy. Nice to everybody, never done a single thing wrong. And everybody's just so mean to him. Literally born with a silver spoon in his mouth. One of the richest people on planet Earth. Certainly one of the most powerful people on planet Earth. And he's just so persecuted.
You are forcing us to look like a cult. We're patient and steadfast in our support of a single man. We are cult followers. Yes, we follow a man. Yes, we do. We drank the Kool-Aid and it's orange.
I'm a fan. I love that. That's good. That's a good one. I appreciate that he's self-aware. It's just like really wild to hear a Christian say like this when the Bible explicitly says, watch out for this type of event because people will come and they'll try to deceive you into following false leaders. Remember? Didn't the Bible say that? I feel like it did. I think it did. And here we are with these people literally saying, I follow a man and I am a cult member and I drank the Kool-Aid and it's orange. Just wild, man. As somebody aptly points out, that's your victim story. We're forcing you. Yeah, he's the victim, of course. So stupid. All right, one more for good measure. Let's see what we got. I want to find a good one. Okay, here's another part of the Trump religion right here. Check this out.
God has a plan to bring time to its great culmination. All world events must culminate at the end of time.
Okay, I don't know what that means. Go on.
For that to happen, certain world leaders must be in place. Certain men must be in place to stop a premature Third World War.
So of course, he's saying that Donald Trump needs to be in place to stop World War III, a premature World War III. So World War III is going to happen, but it's going to be instigated by Donald Trump. Is that the word I'm looking for? He's going to start World War III, and it's going to be a holy war ordained by God. Telling you, man, Trump could do literally anything. He could literally walk out on stage and say, I am the Antichrist. And these people, and people like Shane Vaughn, would say, he was joking. He's just telling a joke. You guys don't know how to take jokes. You what, the joke police over here? I don't think that there is literally one single thing that he could do that they wouldn't excuse away.
Why is that? Well, the leader of J.P. Morgan said last week that World War...
Oh yeah, I looked this up and he's completely twisting this around.
That World War III has already started with Russia, Ukraine, China. But the problem with that, it's not time yet for World War III.
So he's saying that Donald Trump is going to stop World War III and then start World War III again? Am I reading this correctly? I'm just looking for the exact quote, see if I can get info on it here. Jamie Dimon warns World War III has already begun and poses more of a risk to humanity than climate change. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, this is on India Times, by the way. So is it trustworthy? You tell me. I'm just trying to read the quote. Has issued a serious warning that World War III may already be underway. He points to ongoing wars in Ukraine and the Middle East, as well as increasing cooperation among countries like Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran. According to Dimon, these nations are working together to challenge the global system that has existed since the end of World War II. The shift in global power, he suggests, is not just a distant concern, but an urgent crisis unfolding in real time. This is released February 1st, 2025, when this article came out. And I remember when he was talking about this, and the global power to which he's referring is like an order that kind of was created after World War II. European power was crushed because France was dominated by Germany and many, many, many other European countries were dominated and subsequently destroyed by Germany. Their economies were ravaged and, everything. It was just a total mess. And then Germany was in shambles, of course. So two world powers emerged ultimately. The West, which is the United States and the UK, and everybody allied with the West, which is like France and stuff, and the Soviet Union, and all of the states kind of organized with them. Of course, as we know, the Union collapsed. So the United States and democracy has reigned supreme largely since the end of World War II, in favor of basically dictatorship and fascism. Democracy won out over dictatorship and fascism. That is the global order in place since World War II. And Jamie Dimon is warning that fascism is taking root again in Russia, China, Korea, North Korea, and Iran. Like, they're working together to kind of form out a more powerful fascistic order, if you will. I don't want to use the word world order because that has links to conspiracy theories, but it's the way that the world is like organized structurally, power-wise. Anyway, I don't know if this came out 2025, so I guess Jamie Dimon probably did see this coming, but the United States very clearly siding with Russia and stuff in this whole scenario. I wonder how that factors into his whole equation. The U.S. is tipping the scales of power from the world's scales of power from democracy to dictatorship and fascism. Anyway, that's what he's referring to. Let's keep listening to Shane here.
That World War III has already started.
He has no idea what he's talking about.
With Russia, Ukraine, China. But the problem with that, it's not time yet for World War III.
Like, how do you know when World War III is supposed to be?
Why? Because World War III will bring the return of Yeshua, Jesus Christ, to this planet. But it's a little premature right now. That's about 30 years away.
Interesting. So he believes that Trump is going to take over on behalf of Jesus. I'm wondering why he said Yeshua like that. I mean, was he saying like Yeshua in spirit, or was he just trying to appeal to like a broader audience? Because this is definitely what he believes. I have copious amounts of videos of him talking about it.
So God had to raise up a man that will literally be able to stop the plans of the enemy. When I say the plans of the enemy, I'm referring to the Nephilim spirits that were put in prison during Noah's flood. Their desire...
What? They were imprisoned? I thought they were killed. Isn't that why he flooded the earth in the first place? To kill him? Why would he flood the earth if it wasn't going to kill the Nephilim?
To prematurely hijack the plans of God for the end of time.
Anyway, Shane Vaughn is one of the many people that I believe is so deep in it that there's no emerging for him, ever. He is so deep into this belief system that I believe he would literally kill for Donald Trump. Absolutely insane. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. That's all I've got for you. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.